I'm live again because I feel like it. I put the baby to sleep. This is my nighttime routine. I'm gonna try not to whisper, but also not get too loud because he is literally in the room next door. But typically my night routine is dinner time, bath time, a little bit of playtime. We go into the room and we read a little bit while he drinks his milk, and then I do the talk through and I say, okay, it's 7:40 right now, or whatever the time may be. At 7:45, Mama's gonna lay you down and you're gonna go to sleep. Or if it's like 8 o'clock, I'll say, okay, it's 8 o'clock. At 8:05, Mama's gonna lay you down and you're gonna go to sleep. I go through that spiel, I hold him, we walk around the house, I kiss him, I lay him down, close the door, walk away. I go lay on the couch for maybe 15-20 minutes. Typically, I'm scrolling TikTok, and then by that time, it's dark enough and the chickens have gone into the coop. I go lock up the coop, come inside. If I have to take a shower, take a shower. Sometimes I get back on the couch and TikTok. Other times, I don't know, I bullshit with my dad. Tonight, I told myself I'm gonna come into the studio because my nap time painting session the other day felt really good. I felt successful. I felt like I utilized my time productively. However, the last couple of days I've been feeling really tired, just like tired, uncomfortable in my body. Like I know I need to stretch my body. I haven't been doing yoga the way that I need to, but also just inspired to come and paint. So that's what I'm going to do today. I am going to paint. I do have some adult grape juice here with me because I feel like this is mommy me time. And I have my water, of course, but this is the painting I did the other day. And welcome to Friendly Observer. You're a friendly observer, Jackie. Thank you. But awesome. But this is the painting I did the other day. And today I have two smaller paintings that I'm going to work on at the same time. And I'm not necessarily going to give myself a time limit because I'm always tired and I have the energy and like the inspiration to paint today, so I'm just going to go with the flow. But I'm working with two canvases, and as you can see, I have a little tabletop easel, and I'm so happy. I remembered that I had it in the closet, so I pulled it out, and this I think is going to be super helpful. But I am going with, can you see my palette? Not quite. I want you to be able to see my palette. I wish, if it was up to me, if I could figure it out, I wish I could have like multiple cameras so you could see each like detailed part of this space. Everything behind here is like a big junky mess, but that doesn't even really matter. I'm an artist and this is my studio, okay? But I'm gonna try and use up the last of this paint because I did get a new bottle the other day. And you know what I realized when I got home? We went to the art supply store and I went and got myself different metallic paints. I re-upped on my favorite blue. What else did I get? I got these canvases and I completely forgot to go and get my son some washable paint. This whole time I've been complaining about how, oh, I want to paint with him, but I don't want to use my paint because it's not washable. If it gets on his clothes or his skin, like it's hard to scrub off. If he eats it, like it's literally plastic. And I completely forgot about washable paint for kids. So we might make another trip to the store tomorrow because I feel like I'm ridiculously long overdue for painting with my kid. You know, like, how am I an artist? How am I a painter? And I have not yet fully immersed him in my art studio. And granted, I know him, and I know that he is much more interested in like the way things work or the mechanisms of things. Like if he was in the studio with me right now, rather than focusing on the fact that I'm squeezing paint out of this bottle, he would be focusing on the top and like flipping it open and closing it back and flipping it open and closing it back. He would be much more focused on that and much more entertained with that. So like on one hand, I feel like I'm long overdue for painting with him, but on the other hand, I know that if I was to set up a whole studio space for him to come and paint with me, he's most likely not gonna paint. But whatever. I still feel like I owe it to myself and I owe it to him to get some washable paint and at least try it. So we might end up doing that tomorrow. But let me go ahead and get started with the wash. So the vibe for this is daytime, nighttime, sun, moon, lady with an afro looking off into the distance. You get me? It'll come to life. Trust the process. Trust me. I have a vision for this. I have a vision. I see it in my mind. But for right now, we are just going to do a wash. I'm sorry for my squeaky chair. I honestly hate it. I don't know if I should get some WD-40 for it or figure out where the squeak is coming from and pad it up, but this is a thrift store find and it's had a life before this one in this studio, so bear with me. Where's my fan? This is gonna be kind of awkward. I feel like I need to... I moved things around so that I could get a better angle. And I had to move my lamp and move this, but I'm not used to it, so I feel like this is kind of... the placement of things is kind of awkward. And I don't even remember where I got this from. I feel like somebody gave this to me. I did not buy this. Maybe I bought it, maybe I found it at the thrift store. I don't, honestly, I have so much stuff in here that some I can recall, some I cannot. It doesn't really even matter. But my memory serves me right. Somebody gave it to me at work. And I brought it home. Used here. It's a Wednesday night. How's everybody doing? Doing good? I like eggplant purple. Nice bright color. Have a good paint settings. Set up. Thank you. So grateful to watch your journey, beloved. Thank you, Jackie. Glad you're here. I feel like I always have to check these live chats because for whatever reason, like they pop up and then they fade away. And then when I'm done with the live stream and it uploads, the live chats don't stay. So I'm not too sure about what that's about. So I always have to check intermittently to see what's going on there. But cheers. Happy Wednesday night. I also have the baby monitor, of course. All right. Daytime, nighttime. I want to get this background in. I feel like the other day I had to go back into the background before my time ran out after he woke up, and I kind of want to develop that a little bit more. I'm doing my best to like keep the process swift because I have a tendency to get stuck in the process and overthink things throughout the process and second guess myself and compare this painting to the last painting and the painting before, and I'm kind of sick of that. You ever like come to the realization that you're kind of sick of yourself? Or like there's parts of yourself that like just kind of irk you? I don't know if this is me thing, but I sometimes I feel like specifically when it comes to my creative process, I find myself being so annoyed at times with how much I hold myself back and like how much I hold myself back from making anything because of a fear of that thing that I make being bad. Like, I don't want to make bad art, you know? But by being fearful of making bad art, I don't make any art at all. And that's just sad. And that's just disappointing. Because I would consider myself a good artist. How does this look? I would consider myself a good artist. Like, I think I could make a pretty picture. I think I could get my thoughts and feelings across pretty interestingly and beautifully in its own unique way. And I want to be able to do that without this fear of it being bad or without this fear of like judgment that doesn't even really exist. You know what I mean? Like nobody's out there judging what I'm making other than myself. And if they are, that's not my business. It's what other people think of me is none of my business. And I think I put too much weight on hypotheticals. So this process of just going live and doing it has been helpful. And honestly, I knew this months ago. Like there was that live stream that I did a couple months ago where I did the 4 artworks with like, or was it 5 artworks? 4 artworks with 4 different materials, something like that. And I found that to be so incredibly helpful with just letting loose and seeing what comes like intuitively and unconsciously. And it was really interesting to see like certain ideas come through in these super fast artworks that I had been thinking about and holding on to for a long time and just hadn't really let them loose onto a canvas. And so when I did that, I was like, oh, this is a process that I should do much more often. You know, I really enjoy filming my experiences and editing the videos in a way that like feels cohesive and artistic and tells a story, and I like that process, but that takes time and that takes effort, and I find that like focusing my attention on that takes away from the time and attention I give to my personal artworks. And I realized through that live stream that simply sitting here and live streaming and letting this process kind of open up naturally is helpful and feels necessary. And I noticed that a couple months ago, and in my mind I was like, ooh, I'm about to be off for the summer, I've got 2 months to be home with my son and we can have all of these different experiences together, and I can also focus on my art making. And part of that process being doing these live streams. Did I do them? No, not the way that I wanted to. So it's a little like annoying. It's another moment of annoyance with myself of like knowing that I have the time to do something, knowing that I have the space to do something, and just like finding excuses not to do it. And the excuses being self-consciousness, fear of judgment, fear of criticism. And that's whack. That's so whack. The only person holding me back is me. And I don't want to feel that. So here I am on a Wednesday night while my son is asleep in the art studio painting, which by all accounts is a win. Mark Vasey, I also find it hard to free myself from my own expectation of delivering something to someone. Let me read that again. Why doesn't this stay up? Even if that someone is myself. I also find it hard to free myself from my own expectation of delivering something to myself, even if that someone is myself. Oh, why are we like this? Why is it so hard to just let ourselves be ourselves and trust ourselves and do things for ourselves that we know is good for us? Why do we do that? I have this tendency to make all of these lists, to-do lists, goal lists, things I want to do, things I want to see, places I want to go. And I do that like for long term, and I also do that in the short term. So like every day I have a to-do list. I already have my to-do list set for tomorrow, right? But I will make to-do lists, and those to-do lists, sometimes, like the daily to-do list, I go through, I check them, it like keeps me on track and makes me feel like I have a successful day. But when it comes to-do lists for like just general life, or just like kind of like, they feel like far-fetched things, except that's just my own insecurity telling me that it's far-fetched, you know? And those goal lists, those to-do lists will sit and just like collect dust in my phone. And then days and weeks and months down the line, I'll go back into my phone notes and see, oh, a couple months ago I wrote down these goals and I never achieved them. And then I'm like upset with myself about not having met that. And I have one of these lists for the summertime, right? Like I'm an art teacher for students with special needs during the school year. When the summer rolls around, I have all this time to myself to do as I please. In months past, as you know, I've built up and traveled in the van. Summer of, 2023, I was pregnant. Summer of 2024, I had just had my baby, he was only a few months old. And summer of 2025, I have a 1.5-year-old. And, you know, things are different, things are harder, but I had a to-do list of like finishing these paintings and, what did I have on the list? Let me look. I may have deleted it out of embarrassment. Look, here we go. May 13th, 2025, I wrote goals for the summer, 8 weeks, 1 video a week, quick edits. I feel like I've accomplished that. And then I have a few examples of different videos that I wanted to make as far as like spending the night in the van, cooking in the van, which that video is coming. I did go camping a couple weeks ago. I have so much footage. But I will say, if you become a member, I will be uploading raw footage, like 2.5 hour long raw footage of my camping trip to the members side of things, because I really want to edit it down, but there's so much to see, and I think the extended cut is kind of cool. So if you want to see that, join members, it'll be there. The other things, 1 live stream a week, studio, work, mommy moments. I haven't done 1 live stream a week, but maybe this week will make up for that. 2 paintings finished by end of July. Do these count? Because these weren't the 2 paintings that I was thinking of. It was the other big paintings. And when I said 2 paintings finished, that would mean all 3 paintings of the trio that I was doing would be done. And at this point in time, only 1 is finished, the other 1 is halfway, and the 3rd one just has a wash. Build frames for 4 paintings. Earrings, this one's ridiculous. 30 pairs for 30th birthday. My 30th birthday is in a little over a month. Am I gonna have 30 pairs of earrings made by then? Hell no. Am I gonna push for it? Hell no. Hell no. But that's the thing, is like, some of those goals have been accomplished. Some of them are ridiculous. Some of them, depending on how you look at it, might be considered something that I've accomplished. But I digress. How are we gonna do this? Let me focus on this for a second. Okay. Here's the base. The other thing, the other thing, the other thing that this process has had me realize is like painting in layers is so helpful. I feel like I used to paint like individual brushstrokes, and all of those individual brushstrokes would build up to the image itself. And it was like super detailed and super refined, and I would literally use this brush for everything. Can you see it? This tiny itty bitty brush for everything. And it's my favorite brush, and it comes in helpful for when I need it. But like to do a full painting with that brush, ridiculous. Okay, I'm going to angle this just a little bit. Now am I gonna be able to mirror this? Ooh. Not enough paint. Let's see, let's try that again. If I put more paint here, will I be able to capture the edges to mirror the picture? Because I want this to be like a mirrored image. Let's try that again. Y'all think this gonna work? Let's see. Oh, low key. Low key, low key. I can make that work. I'm a genius. Low key. Where's losing my fan? I got red paint everywhere. Solid, solid, Can you still see with the fan in the way? The fan is necessary, because if I want to work like this, because I feel like otherwise I'd be sitting here like this. Waiting for the paint to dry. I don't have time for that. Not anymore, I don't. I remember the days. Listen, when I went to college, I would go to class, go back to my dorm room, paint. Go to the dining hall, back to the room, paint. In between classes, in between studying, in between taking tests, paint. Life is just different now. Life is just very different. Okay. It's so interesting how I'm using the same brown that I've mixed, but on each background it comes out so different. And obviously that's just color theory. That's just how paint is, but it's kind of throwing me. I feel like working on two paintings at the same time like this is kind of throwing me a little bit. Which I've painted multiple things at the same time, like especially with my earrings. Every time I have a new earring design, I make 5 pairs of the same design at the same time. And so I'm using the same colors, I'm doing the same design. And that's just like how I roll with that. But this is like the same design with two different backgrounds, and it's throwing me off a bit. And I realized I need to work on this background a little bit more. Ooh. This hot pink color, fluorescent pink. Oh. I love it. Like, look at this purple. Oh, this purple is beautiful. Me buying that purple was actually inspired by a friend from high school. I remember that in all the washes of his paintings, he always used this fluorescent pink, like hot pink color. And I remember it being like, it stood out to me so much. That hot pink color. The way that it like came through in his paintings, like the way that he washed the canvas and then painted on top and allowed the wash to show through, just, it was memorable. it stands out to me in my memory of those days of us being in the art studio in high school and trying to figure our lives out through the art. Okay. We need to add a sun. I'm gonna lay down the sun with just this regular acrylic paint, but I did get a new, what am I trying to say? Shiny paint. Metallic. So I'll add that later. Ooh, did I get? I have a metallic silver too. Silver moon? Gold sun? Does that look like a circle? I pride myself on being able to do a pretty good circle, but I don't want to overdo it and then mess it up and make it too big. Sun, afro. I remember saying the other day that like I felt like my palette was too small, and I'm feeling that again right now. Like I need more space to mix my colors. I need to find something bigger. Maybe when I go to Michael's again tomorrow, I'll see what kind of palettes they have. And I am getting paint all over me. Alright. How big are we going with the afro? How big are we going? I wish I could play music, but I get copyright striked if I play copywritten music. I could play non-copywritten music because I have Epidemic Sound, which is what I use to put the music into my videos when I edit, but the app is on my iPad, not on my phone, and I'm live streaming from my iPad, so. And also, the baby is asleep, so what am I even saying? What am I even saying? Alright. What do we think about the size of the afro? Does that look... Does that make sense? Does the size of that make sense? I'm not against it. Alright, let's get the moon going. And the afro over here. What time is it? 9:39. I wouldn't even be asleep. Listen, earlier when I was talking about my nighttime routine, usually, let's say, for example, like last night, I put him to sleep and I was on the couch on TikTok, probably till like 10:30, okay? Now, mind you, I have 2 books in my Libby app waiting on me to read them, but I'm not in a reading mood lately. And I think I was kind of put off because I was listening to Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and the audiobook was 26 hours long. And you have 2 weeks. And I waited 12 weeks to get access to this book. And I literally had like 45 minutes left, maybe an hour 45, if I remember correctly, of listening time left over. And they took the book away from me so fast. And it pissed me off. And I have to wait another like 6-7 weeks to get access to the book back. And before then, I read I Who Have Never Known Men, or Who Have Not Known Men, and my brain has been in a processing space of that since then. And so I have 2 other books that weren't necessarily like things that I absolutely wanted to read that I had been waiting on for a long time. They were just things that I kind of found in passing that I was like, oh, that might be interesting, or oh, that could be helpful. One of which is like a parenting book. So it's not fiction like I like. So it's not like I'm not as motivated to go open it up and read it. So lately I've been stuck on TikTok. And so typically what will happen is I'll end up on TikTok for hours and I'm having a good time, you know, it's enjoyable, whatever, I'll admit it. But then I end up late and then I crawl into bed, fingers crossed that he doesn't wake up. And then my mind is just like flooded with nonsense. And then I struggle to fall asleep, and then I fall asleep, and before I know it, it's 7:15, 7:30, and Xander's walking around the house waiting on me to wake up so we can go outside and get the chickens. And then before I know it, the baby's awake, and I have to pee and brush my teeth, and gotta go let the chickens out, and Xander's like tip-tapping his feet because he has to pee. And then the day goes on, and I'm tired. And then the night comes and the same thing happens again, which is just like ridiculous, right? Like, Jasmine, go to sleep. You're a mom. You do a lot. You're doing it all. Go to sleep. So tonight, rather than wasting my time away on TikTok, I'm painting, which is a much better option, much more productive. Honestly, I'm gonna feel better about it. I'm still gonna go to sleep late, right? Like, I'm still gonna crawl in bed with my fingers crossed, hoping that he doesn't wake up, and I'm still gonna be tired when I wake up in the morning. But rather than waking up in the morning and being like, oh, another night where I stayed up, doom scrolling, what did I gain from that? I'm gonna wake up like, oh, I spent my time last night in the studio actually making something. And that feels good. I know it's going to feel good. I know it's going to feel good. And then tomorrow night, we'll see what happens. Because we might end up on the couch again, TikToking. Who knows? I try not to give myself a hard time about it, because sometimes you just need to, like, do nothing, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just gotta veg out a little bit. So, I feel like I am my own worst critic. But there's also a part of me that's like, just relax, Jasmine. Like, it is not that big of a deal, girl. Why does this afro look bigger than that afro? How we doing out there, y'all? Y'all good? What are y'all doing with your Wednesday night? I know you're not just watching me. Okay. Oh my god, so many comments. Okay. Yes, these count. Heart eyes. Do you visualize your paintings before you start, or just move with random thought? Both. So I had this vision earlier with the afro lady the sun and the moon. And this is a motif that I've done before in my earrings and in like my larger paintings, my personal paintings. But very clearly tonight, knowing that I have these two small canvases, I was like, oh, this is what we're doing. It's gonna be one with the sun, one with the moon, and they're gonna work as a pair. But as I set up and I start working, the process kind of comes to me, like the colors I'm going to use for the background, how I'm going to compose the imagery, how I'm going to layer the colors to achieve the depths that I want without getting hung up in the process. So it's a little of both. And I feel like I can't help but yap about that as I go, because it's a work in progress for me to even work this way in the first place, and so it's practice. Daniel Henderson said, "What you painting?" Let me show you a closer look. Here's one. Very early process, very simple. I gotta get the eyes, the definition of the eyes and the nose and the mouth in there, so it starts coming to life a little bit more. This one's harder to see. There. So I gotta do a little bit more. How long? 54 minutes, an hour. If there's no music, then I can listen to whatever music here. It's 2:40 here. I mean, that kind of works. Play your own music in the background and then listen to me talk and listen to the sounds of me painting. That kind of works. That's kind of what I figured people would do anyways. I wish I could play music on my side, but maybe during the day. There's one last comment. Let me see this before it disappears and get back to it. It's funny that it's called TikToking and it can feel like such a time hole. Oh my God. That's such a good point. That's such an interesting point too, because it's like, oh my God. It literally is a black hole of quick paced content. It just sucks you in. And the thing is that it's so addictive. It's so entertaining. Like some things are just like downright ridiculous and not funny, and like I wish I had not spent the 20 seconds to watch this. But then there are some things that are just so fucking funny, like, and me and my sister are constantly sending TikToks back and forth. And I remember, it's funny because I have a friend from work, and was it with the election or something? I don't remember like what the time period was, but it was the point in time where TikTok was going to be banned, and everybody was like, oh, let me get my last, few TikToks out, and people were making TikToks of like, go follow me here, go follow me there, and everybody was like, TikTok shutting down, TikTok shutting down. And I remember saying to myself and saying to other people like, oh, when TikTok gets shut down, I'm done with the app. I'm not gonna open it anymore. I don't even care if TikTok comes back. I'm not gonna open the app. I'm not gonna do it. And at the time, I stuck to that promise. I did very well, and I ended up reading like 6 books within a month. I read so much, and it was really enjoyable. I read Octavia Butler's Xenogenesis, or Lilith's Brood series, and then I read some other books, but I read a lot. And I felt really proud because I had been wanting to read, but I had just been stuck in consuming TikTok content for so long. But when it was getting banned and shut down, I was like, okay, I'm gonna commit myself to not opening up the app, to not consuming anything on TikTok, focusing on reading and going from there. And I did that. I felt so proud. I read so many books within a like month, 2 month period. And then I was like, oh, I've read so much. TikTok can be a little treat. My mistake. Because I opened up the app, and then before I knew it, I got sucked back in, and I'm struggling to get out of the hole again. But again, I'm gonna bring it back full circle. Here I am in the studio painting, not on TikTok, right? So let me be quiet really quick and get the details of this on here. I am defining the shape of the nose, the mouth, the ears, the eyes. This painting is feeling a little more like illustrative versus realistic. This is the one from yesterday. This one I would consider, while it's not accurate and proportional, whatever, that doesn't even fucking matter, but this one is more like realistic in style. Whereas these ones are feeling a little more illustrative, which I kind of bounce back and forth between, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. This is just the vibe for now. This is the vibe for this painting. I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna fight it. Now, eyes open or eyes closed? You tell me. Should their eyes be open or closed? I don't know. Maybe eyes open on one, eyes closed on the other? Eyes closed would be easier, if I'm being honest. Maybe we do eyes closed. Do I want to fight with an eyeball today? I do not. I do not want to fight with an eyeball today. Eyes closed. She's at peace. Okay, eyebrows. Strong cheekbone. It's so interesting how, like, depending on how I'm feeling, what the artwork comes out like. Because this is so very different than what I did the other night. We gotta put an earring on her. Look at that. I feel like, let me bring you closer. Open. Mixed Sense said open eyes. Mark Vasey said glasses. Ah! Open glasses. Ooh. Literally me. I don't know about that. Now that her eyes are closed already, but it's also like, it's daytime, we've got the sun. I feel like if her eyes were to be open, she should be looking up, you know, like towards. Okay, I'll open up her eyes. I'll open up her eyes. I'll do it. It's gonna look weird for a second, but I will do it. But before I open up her eyes, I'm gonna come over here and do sort of like graphic details of this one, of this young lady over here, because I want to work at the same pace for both. I don't want one to get left behind. I don't want one to get left behind. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock on the dot. 65 minutes. Okay. Let me not focus on the time. I'm alive, I'm well. Baby's asleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Okay. This setup is starting to do something to me. Alright. I've got to find a way to like paint comfortably and efficiently. And also in a way to where you can see what I'm doing. They're not supposed to be twins, they're sisters. I say to ease the self-consciousness of them not matching. They're not twins, they're sisters. open eyes. I don't think I'm gonna do glasses because I feel like the second I try and put glasses on a profile portrait, I'm gonna fuck it up. And I'm gonna fuck it up beyond what I'm prepared to deal with tonight, okay? No glasses. But I will do open eyes to the best of my ability. And it's gonna take some time to get it right. Does she look like she have open eyes? Doing this in brown first and then I can go back later with the brown, or go back in later with the black and make it more bold. Make it look like I'm sure of myself. Okay, open eyes. Or maybe one open, one closed. Compromise? Can we do a compromise? I feel like compromise, okay? One open, one closed. Mark Vasey, painting's looking great. I gotta go. Bye. Thanks for being here. Have a good night or have a good day. Compromise. One eye open, one eye closed, okay? Okay. It'll hold meaning within itself. Alright. Oh, and then we gotta come down here into the body. Right. That's where we're at. Sisters, not twins. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna add, let's go back to the background. I'm gonna do a little bit more in the background before I add some extra details. Let's get some clouds. Ooh, and then I'm gonna use some iridescent paint. Yeah. Okay. Can you imagine if I had a close-up microphone like to the paintbrush and you could hear the brush strokes? Oh my god, painting ASMR. That would be nice. Somebody's dog is not happy outside. Clouds, yes. Now, what do you put in the background, like, of space? What do you think of the night? The night, the sky, the moon. I mean, there are clouds, right? If it's a cloudy day, maybe there's clouds in the nighttime. Maybe I should do some, like, dark, purpley, cloud-like shapes. Let's see, something like that. We'll try it out. We'll try it out. Purpley blue. Just to kind of like keep the imagery cohesive. Excuse my chair. Let's see. It feels kind of dark though. You gotta see how that's gonna dry. 'Cause I don't want to make it too light. You know? Push a little bit, Jasmine. Push, push, push. It'll be okay. Let's see. I think that's gonna be better. We'll see. We shall soon. always dries darker. And when you use dark colors, it's hard to really tell just how dark it's going to get. So I'm gonna go with this for now. And we'll see how it goes out. And we'll hope for the best. And if I feel like it needs something more later, I'll just add it later. I'm just like imagining like a very bright moonlit nighttime sky that's also like super cloudy. Like I'm imagining the stereotypical like cloudy full moon, and you better watch out for the werewolves. That's, you know, it's like Twilight coded, right? It's also Harry Potter coded. I have like the fact that I wasn't able to finish Order of the Phoenix is just so disappointing to me. I think I just need to buy myself like the book set. I've been listening to the audiobooks, but especially since I wasn't able to finish the audiobook with the time that they gave me, I feel like I just need to buy my own set. Especially so I can have them to read to my son whenever he's old enough. I think that'll be fun. Okay, how does that look? I think pretty satisfied with that. I think that's pretty good. If I'm being honest, I feel like this might end up being like a 2-night thing. Like I get the base coat down and I get it like solidified, and then tomorrow I come back and I do the details, because I want details. I want very fine details. It's 10:16. I'll see how I'm feeling in like 30 minutes or so. I don't know, whenever I start feeling tired. I still have wine in my glass. Let me show you more up close. There we go. It's coming together. It is. Alright, what's next? I think we got to go back in with the hair. And we gotta get some curls in there. We have to start defining those curls a little bit. Excuse me. We are going to layer colors. So we are going to start with the dark tones underneath. So like, you see how my hair is like darker up under here, and then up top you see the lighting? It's darker here, darker back here. That's what we're going for. Get the darks done. the lights done on top. Also, you can start to add the details as we go. And this brush kind of works well because it's got some loose bristles, so it'll work well for like giving loose curl effect. Still gotta give her an earring. And she needs some color in her lips. Okay. It's so small from that view, but it's coming together. I'm loving it. It's coming together quite nicely. This like graphic style is doing it for me. come over here and work on this young lady. I feel like I'm in the zone now. I feel like I'm in the zone. I feel like I'm on a mission. Before I was just painting. Now I feel like I'm in the zone. I feel like I can see the vision clearly. Like I had an idea of what I was doing tonight. And I sat down and I started painting. But now I feel like I'm executing. That's a good feeling. That is a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous for this open eyeball. Pero I know everything's gonna be just fine. bring some highlights to their face. Like after I do this layer of dark, I gotta do the highlights in the hair and then highlights in the face. Mm. That was too big of a brush stroke. Mayday, 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 mayday. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. I gotta get some white in this eye. Eyebrow, eye. What else am I missing? Hair is there. A little darkness in the body. A little something like that. Okay. Alright, let's get a little white in this eye. Just to kind of liven it up a little bit. Wake her up a little bit. Excuse me. I need a drink. Let me finish my wine. I nearly just choked myself out. Not a little ass wig. really just need to drink some water. It's 10:30 over. Now is the time in which I would call my night done and go and get in bed. And I'm starting to feel tired because I've been sitting here for 99 minutes and 45 seconds and counting, and the baby monitor is now running out of battery. But I do feel compelled to just keep going. I need to go plug that thing up though. I might call it here and just come back to this tomorrow night. The baby monitor fully died. Because I'm definitely not finished. I feel like in order to finish this, I would have to be up at least another hour. And I don't know if I want to be up another hour, but realistically speaking, I probably would be anyways on any other given night. But she has an open eye. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. Let's see. Raj Artist 99 says hi. Hello. And Mixed Sense says, I have to go too, but have a good night and amazing work as usual. Thank you. Bye. Have a good night. Sleep well. Or have a good day, wherever you are, whatever time it is. I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you for being here. Where are we at, Jasmine? Where are we at? I'm gonna continue with the hair. Let's do that. Continue with the hair and then I'll reevaluate. Because I am starting to feel tired. I think I might have to tap out. It's time for me to go to sleep. I think when I go back in with the gold accents, because what I want to do is do a golden sun, golden like rays shining on her. She's gonna be outlined in gold. I'll do like gold curl highlights. That'll kind of like make the curls pop, you know? I think that's the move. Kind of add to it. But I don't think I'm gonna get there tonight. I am winding down. I'm gonna finish this young lady's hair over here. And tap out for the night. I feel good though. I feel like the amount of work that I did today was good. I feel happy with my work. I'm glad that I spent this time here doing this and allowing this vision to flow and exist on these canvases now, because otherwise I would have had this vision and would have been like, I'll do that another day. It's just something else I'm envisioning and not following through on, and I would have been upset with myself and disappointed, and I don't ever want to feel that, especially like I just feel like I've always wanted to be an artist. I've been creative. I have been an artist most of my life, all of my life. I have had this creative energy for as long as I can remember, and there's no reason for me not to be honoring myself in this way and creating what I want to create, even if it means staying up late when I would benefit from a little more sleep than usual, but that is okay. That is okay. Sometimes we make sacrifices for the things we love. Sacrificing my sleep for this painting session. No regrets at all. All right. Here we are, 107 minutes, 2 paintings, nearly done, not completely finished, but I'm happy with them. I'm satisfied with where we are right now. And tomorrow I'll come back to it and add more. See where it takes me. So, if you've stayed here with me, thank you very much. Let me double check this chat before I go. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming with me on this creative journey. Thank you for being here in my studio during this time and chatting with me. I had fun. I hope you did too. Anyways, it's 10:43. I'm gonna go TikTok for 15 minutes and then go to sleep. I'm guilty. Sorry. Good night.